Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back into another edition of Keytime Sports. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to Keytime Sports right here on YouTube, Key City Sports on Instagram, and the keyonmillions.co. Here is my media feed for my clips, sound bites, and segments throughout any sports event I talk about and cover. So now we are going to get to the last week of, well, excuse me, not the last week of, but the second to last week of the NFL season. It is championship weekend, so I'm going to give you all of the roster spots for the New England Patriots just for a refresher because I know that there are a lot of people that obviously do not know who is on the team, and you have so much turnover when it comes to regular season to playoffs. You do. You have players that get cut before the playoffs start. You have players that stay on and get promoted from the practice squad to the starting role before the playoffs start. So now, first off, what I'm going to do is here's the roster for the New England Patriots throughout this entirety of this season. I'm going to give everybody maybe a good 15 seconds to look at everybody on this roster. I am not going to go down a list because you see all of the names right here. Here is what they have on offense, and here is what they have on defense. Here's what they have on special teams, and here are the injured reserve guys, and the head coach is Mike Vrabel. Now, I know a lot of people over the past week and a half, possibly even 2 months, have said the Patriots have had the easiest schedule in the NFL, and you only play who you are supposed to play on your schedule. Now, when we look at their schedule and we see where they have only 3 losses on the season, and technically those 3 losses they could have went either way. The Patriots, they could be undefeated if we're keeping it 100, if we're keeping it a buck, because a couple of plays here and there they lost versus Las Vegas. Then you play Pittsburgh, and I could obviously say they should have won versus Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh, they didn't have the kind of offense that we are usually accustomed to, only to score 14 points. And now we get down to Buffalo. You played Buffalo. You lost versus Buffalo after having a 24-3 lead. And since then, you've won versus Baltimore, New York, Miami, and then in the playoffs, you've played against a team in the Los Angeles Chargers with no offensive line and just Justin Herbert. Then you play against a team that has the number one defense, arguably the number one defense in the NFL, but have no offense. And now you get to the current game at hand. You get to that and you see where the Denver Broncos, now I'm going to get to the Denver Broncos. You see where the Denver Broncos quarterback, Bo Nix, he's injured. And preferably, I don't think that it is a severe injury to the degree that some people are making it out to be. But like I said, I am not a doctor. But for him to be walking back on that fractured leg already, it wasn't severely fractured like we initially thought. So now we have the Denver Broncos. Here's their offense, and here's everybody that is on their offense. Here's everybody that is on the Broncos defense. Here's everybody that is on the Broncos special teams. And here are the injured reserve guys. Now, one thing about the Broncos schedule, we can pretty much say that they have had a tough schedule throughout the season because I just want y'all to look at this. Regular season. First tough task is you played Cincinnati, which this was once Joe Burrow was injured, so not really a tough matchup without Joe Burrow. But then you play Philadelphia. Then you won versus Philadelphia. You played, let's see, you played the Chiefs, and the Chiefs, they had pretty much a bad season. And when we get to tough matchups on the Broncos list, let's see. I mean, would I wouldn't even take the Indianapolis Colts game in week 2 because you don't really know what type of team you have after 2 games. You just don't. So, technically speaking, the Broncos, I don't think that they've had a tough task on their schedule yet because you see their schedule. Tennessee, then you played Kansas City twice, you played Las Vegas, you played the Chargers. The Chargers gave you a run for your money both times. And when you get to the playoffs, you played versus Buffalo in an injury depleted wide receiver core with the Buffalo Bills. So you got 2 teams in the Broncos and the Patriots who seemed like they were just it's almost like they cakewalked their way to an AFC championship game. Now, back in before the season started, Sean Payton said that he had a Super Bowl team. And I said I didn't have a problem with him saying that because from the looks of it, it seemed like you already had a Super Bowl caliber defense. You had Bo Nix coming off of a good rookie season, and now you get to a point where he's no longer in the picture, and you have to rely on Jarrett Stidham. Broncos backup QB Jarrett Stidham steps in for Bo Nix to face former team in the AFC Championship game. Denver, if any opponent is familiar with the Denver Broncos fill-in quarterback, Jarrett Stidham is the New England Patriots. It's the New England Patriots who drafted Jarrett Stidham in 2019 to serve as Tom Brady's backup. When Josh McDaniels took the Las Vegas Raiders head coaching job, he traded for Stidham, who backed up Derek Carr for 2 years before signing with Denver, where he served as Russell Wilson's number 2, then as Bo Nix's right-hand man. After McDaniels returned to New England for his 3rd stint as offensive coordinator last season, the Patriots were interested in a reunion with Stidham, but he chose to stay in Denver. While Nix recovering from surgery after breaking his right ankle on Denver's game-winning drive in overtime against Buffalo last weekend, Stidham steps in Sunday when the Broncos 15-3 host Drake May and the Patriots 16-3 in the AFC Championship game. Although Nix was integral to Denver's success this season, he engineered 6 comebacks in the 4th quarter or overtime and led Denver to an NFL best 12-2 record in one-score games. His coaches and teammates insist they're equally confident Stidham can lead them to the Super Bowl. We're lucky to have him, right tackle Mike McGingley said, because not everybody has a quarterback waiting in the wings as talented as Jarrett. Although the Patriots brass knows Stidham well, defensive tackle Milton Williams didn't mince his words when asked what he knew about the 6-year QB who hasn't thrown a pass in 2 years. Nothing. I ain't gonna lie, he said, nothing. We are going to watch tape on him and figure out what he likes to do, but they didn't like him over Bo, so. Of course, no team likes their backup QB more than their starter, but Broncos coach Sean Payton insists Stidham could start for any number of other NFL teams. Stidham may not have quite the resume of Bo Nix, but he's no slouch. said Patriots cornerback Christian Gonzalez. He's in the NFL for a reason, Gonzalez said. They believe they brought him up, so we've got to be prepared and ready for him. They are in this game for a reason too. They've got a lot of weapons on the offensive side, and they might get a running back, J.K. Dobbins, back from foot surgery. The Broncos' backfield has averaged 1 fewer yard per carry and 29 fewer yards per game since Dobbins got hurt November 6th. His return could take a big load off of Stidham's shoulders. He's been a great back in this league, Patriots linebacker Robert Spillane said. He's a physical downhill runner who breaks tackles and makes big, explosive runs for them. If he's out there, we're going to just have to build. We're just going to have to do great at building a wall and swarming to the tackle. May had an MVP caliber season in his second year, the league and first one under McDaniel's tutelage. But he's had a puzzling postseason, getting sacked 10 times, throwing 2 interceptions, fumbling 6 times, and losing half of them, but still beating the Chargers and Texans handily. Respectfully, Peyton said he's extremely fast, and those come from obviously pocket scrambles, but he can. We had the challenge a week ago. It seems like every third week you have that challenge of someone that you have to make sure your pocket rushers are on point. Denver's defense led the league in sacks with 68, but have a dearth of takeaways until collecting 5 against the Buffalo Bills last week. That defense and a good ground game make a world of difference for Stidham as he faces his former team in the biggest game of his career that features just 4 starts and 1 victory on December 31st, 2023 against the Chargers. I am very appreciative of New England for giving me a shot in this league, drafting me, said Stidham. Those only play callers in his NFL career have been McDaniels and Peyton. But it wasn't a hard choice last spring when he re-signed with Denver with $12 million over 2 years. He said he believes in Peyton. It's pretty obvious that he has the train rolling in the right direction. QB's coach Davis Webb, offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi, and that he really enjoys working with Knicks. I felt like over the last 2 years that I was here that I got a lot better, said Stidham, who gets the chance to show it this weekend. Biggest home underdog. Broncos without Knicks are the biggest home underdog ever in a conference championship game. Odds makers installed the Patriots, who went 8-0 on the road as 5-point favorites. Everybody's doubting us all along, McGlinley said. We won 14 games and people are still saying we're the worst number 1 seed in the history of the playoffs. So that's nothing new. Certainly we are a team that's been battle tested. We've handled adversity every step of the way, and we're incredibly confident moving forward in our team. Family ties in this game. Patriots linebacker Christian Ellis will face one of his brothers for the second time this season, with Broncos linebacker Jonah Ellis on the opposing sideline. Christian faces his brother Caden, who plays for the Atlanta Falcons, and on November 2nd, this will be the first meeting between Christian and Jonah, and the 6-time Ellis brothers have played against each other. It's a huge blessing for our family, Christian said. One of us is going to the Super Bowl one way or another, so we're excited. For me, it's a little bit of a smack talking, and we'll have a little side bet, and the loser will be reminded forever. So now let's get to the point spread of this game. Point spread of this game, and this is going to be a very, very quick show because we are only talking about 2 games. Point spread for this game. The point spread opened up at 4.5. Some sports books have it at 5.5, and some still have it at 4.5. But right now, I would say that the New England Patriots are some way, somehow going to win this game. If it was the other way around, if Bo Nix was playing, I would go for the Denver Broncos. But I'm on the fence with Jarrett Stidham because he hasn't thrown an NFL pass in almost 2 years. So I don't know about y'all, but I am not going to put a bet on a quarterback that hasn't thrown a ball in 2 calendar years. I'm not going to do that. So I got the New England Patriots winning this game, and the Patriots are going to be headed to Santa Clara for Super Bowl 60. The next game I'm going to cover is the NFC Championship game, and this is what we all have been waiting for. We got the Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. Here's the here's the Los Angeles Rams roster. Offensively, offense, defense, special teams, injured reserve, and practice squad guys. Here is the Los Angeles Rams schedule. Let's see who all they lost to. They lost to Philadelphia, San Francisco, Carolina, Seattle, Atlanta, and since then they haven't lost to anybody else. You get to the playoffs. You played against Carolina, and you won versus Carolina. You won versus Chicago last week, and now you go to the Pacific Northwest and play Seattle in a game that the last time that these 2 teams have played each other went down to the wire, and we had a very controversial call at the end of the game with a fumble, but we're not going to talk about that because this is the NFC Championship game. So now let me get on over to the Seattle Seahawks in this game. Now, the Seattle Seahawks, I'm going to tell y'all something. Seattle Seahawks, every year that the Seattle Seahawks have won at least 13 games, they've made it to the Super Bowl. But there is just one domino that is still standing up, and obviously we know after this game that domino is going to have to fall because Sam Darnold, are the Los Angeles Rams Sam Darnold's kryptonite? And I want somebody to clip that because Sam Darnold, when he plays any other NFL team, he is 28-36. Still have a losing record, but against the Rams, he is 1-4. 1-4. So I don't know if the Rams are Sam Darnold's kryptonite, but it's not looking too good. It is not looking too good because from what I see, I believe that Kenneth Walker, he is going to have to be a bell cow running back in this game, just like he was with the 49ers in the previous 2 games. The game that they played versus the 49ers last week and the 2 weeks prior to that, because I just don't believe that Sam Darnold is going to be able to throw his way to a victory versus the Rams. I just don't think that. And here is the offense for the Seattle Seahawks. You also have Jackson Smith and Jigba. He is going to be an X factor. But is Sam Darnold going to be able to throw to him on multiple occasions in this game? We don't know because the Rams defense is top 15. And here's the Seattle Seahawks defense, which is also top 15. Here is the Seattle Seahawks special teams. Here is the injured reserve guys who are out. Here's the practice squad guys. So now we get to the preview at hand. When it comes to this game, Seahawks and Rams will meet for the 3rd time this season as division foes play for Super Bowl berth. Los Angeles Rams 14-5 at Seattle 15-3. Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The game will be broadcast on Fox. Against the spread, the Rams are 11-8, Seahawks 13-5. Series record, Seahawks lead 28-29. Last meeting, Seattle beat the Rams 38-37 in overtime on December 18th. Last week, the Rams beat Chicago 2017 in overtime in the divisional round on January 18th. The Seahawks beat the 49ers 41-6 in the divisional round on January 17th. Rams offense, number 1 overall, rushing 7th, scoring 1st. Rams defense overall, number 17th overall, 12th in rushing. Pass defense 19th, 10th in scoring. Seattle Seahawks offense overall tied for 7th, rushing tied for 10th, passing 8, scoring 5. Seahawks defense overall number 6, passing number 3. Rushing number 3, passing number 10, scoring 1st. Turnover differential for the Rams is plus 15. Seahawks minus 4. Rams players to watch. Right guard Kevin Dotson returned after missing 3 games because of an ankle injury, and Los Angeles top offensive lineman did not miss a beat, grading out as a Pro Football Focus best run blocker interior lineman during the during the divisional round. The Rams finished with 111 rushing yards, and Coach Sean McVay regretted going away from a successful ground game. Dotson was hurt on the first drive of the Wild 38-37 overtime loss to the Seahawks, and the drop off from Dotson to backup Justin Detch was a key factor in swinging the NFC West and top seed in the conference to Seattle. Seahawks players to watch. Kenneth Walker III. Not only did Kenneth Walker tie Sean Alexander for the record for most TD runs in a playoff game with 3 in last week's victory, but also rushed for a season-high 116 yards because Zach Charbonnet is out for the remainder of the playoffs with a knee injury. Seattle will turn almost exclusively to Walker to churn out yards on the ground game. Key matchup, wide receiver Cooper Kupp against the Rams secondary. Kupp has his most receiving yards in a game since November 9th in the Seahawks 41-6 win over the 49ers in the divisional round in 2 games against the Rams, his former team. Kupp has 6 catches for 62 yards this season. Key injuries. Rams cornerback Emmanuel Forbes Jr. has been limited with a shoulder injury, but is expected to play Sunday. Los Angeles secondary is already shorthanded after Akelio Witherspoon sustained a season-ending shoulder blade injury against Carolina in the wildcard round. Outside linebacker Byron Young was held out of practice this week as a precaution because of knee soreness. Safety Quentin Lake missed practice Wednesday because of illness. Seahawks QB Sam Darnold oblique was limited in practice on Wednesday after injuring it last week. Tight end Elijah Oro knee and linebacker Chaz Surratt ankle were both full participants after being ruled out of last week's game. Tackle Charles Cross foot did not practice on Wednesday, nor did the fellow tackles Josh Jones knee, ankle, nor Omari Wright. Running back George Hollaney hamstring was a full participant on Wednesday. Linebacker Uchenna Osawu hamstring was a limited practice participant, as was fullback Robbie Utsu neck. Series notes in this game. The Rams have won 4 of the past 6 games in Seattle, but fell in an overtime thriller last month. Each of the past 5 games between the Rams and Seahawks have been decided by one score, including Seattle's 38-37 overtime win on December 18th. Seahawks are 17-8 against the Rams in Seattle. These franchises seldom played until the realignment in 2002, when the Seahawks moved from the AFC West to the NFC West. The Rams are 2-0 against the Seahawks in the playoffs, with both victories coming in Seattle in the following the 2004 and 2020 seasons. Coach Sean McVay led Los Angeles to a 30-20 win in the NFC wildcard playoff game on January 9th, 2021. But there were no fans at Lumen Field because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Stats and stuff. Rams, they're in the conference championship game for the 12th time after going 5-6 record in their previous trips. Sean McVay is 2-0 in such games, guiding Los Angeles over the New Orleans Saints after the 2018 season and the San Francisco 49ers after the 2021 season. This is the first time McVay is facing a repeat opponent in the playoffs, having seen 15 different opponents in his first 15 postseason games. The Rams are 3-0 against NFC West opposition in the playoffs under McVay, knocking off Seattle after the 2020 season and the Arizona Cardinals and 49ers en route to their Super Bowl title following the 2021 season. QB Matthew Stafford failed to throw a touchdown pass for the first time in 9 playoff games with the Rams, and the second round in his postseason career overall when he failed to find the end zone last week versus the Chicago Bears. Running back Keiwond Williams had 2 rushing touchdowns in Chicago, his first playoff scoring run in 5 career playoff games. Cornerback Kobe Durant can become the first Rams defender to intercept a pass in 3 straight playoff games. He picked off Caleb Williams twice, giving him 3 interceptions this postseason. The Rams are converting 27.6% of their third downs in the playoffs, the lowest mark amongst the 4 remaining teams. They were 5 of 16, 31.3% against Chicago. Seahawks. Seattle earns its first division title since 2020 and 12th in franchise history. The Seahawks have 14 regular season wins for the first time in franchise history. The Seahawks' previous franchise record for wins in a season was 13, which happened in the 2013 and 2005 seasons. Seattle won Super Bowls after the 2013 season. Seattle went 10-7 last season and hasn't had a losing season since 2021 under Pete Carroll. The Seahawks had 5 players selected to the 2025 All-Pro team, matching a franchise record. Wide receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba earned first-team honors, and defensive tackle Leonard Williams. Cornerback Davion Witherspoon, linebacker Ernest Jones IV, and punter Michael Dixon making the second team. Smith-Njigba, who leads the NFL in receiving yards this season, has also had 100 or more catches in consecutive seasons. He had 119 catches in 2025. Seahawks tight end A.J. Barner has set single-season career highs in receptions, 52 yards, 519, and touchdown 6. Ernest Jones IV had 5 interceptions this season for for Seattle, tied for second most in the NFL. Jones also had one in the Seattle Seahawks divisional round win over the 49ers. Kenneth Walker III tied Sean Alexander's record for TD runs in a playoff game with 3 in last week's victory. Everybody, this is going to be my final prediction before the Super Bowl. So, there is one thing that I have to say about this game. These are the biggest games of the NFL season to date. Now, credit, I do see what the Seattle Seahawks are doing, but the Rams offense can't nobody stop Puka Nacua. I mean, he had over 100 yards the last time the Los Angeles Rams played the Seattle Seahawks, and we all know that Sam Darnold, he has a kryptonite when it comes to playing against the Rams. Now, one thing about the matter of this is the point spread, it's going to be the point spread. It's not going up or down. Right now, the point spread is at 2.5. I believe it's going to stay 2.5. But if I had to go with a team to win this game, I'm going to say that the Rams are going to win this game, and we will have a rematch of Super Bowl 54. Well, excuse me, no, Super Bowl 53. Patriots and Rams. Or, I'm going to just say this, we can have a Super Bowl rematch of Super Bowl 49, Patriots and Seahawks. Either way, we are going to see a Super Bowl rematch no matter what. And let me tell y'all something. The NFL Super Bowl matchup, this is not what they envision. I can't really tell y'all the matchup that they envision. I'm just let y'all see and let it play out for itself. Because I've already said too much. And, I have a lot of credibility, and I do not need anything to mess up my credibility. I'm in here this morning. I'm all suited and booted because we got the championship this weekend. And plus, you know that everybody and their mama, grandma, auntie, uncle, sister, brother, long distance cousin, long distance grandfather, auntie, great grandmama, whoever it could be, you know that they are going to be seeing it. And also, not just them, but you got your pee-wee coach, your middle school coach, your high school coach, your junior high school coach, your college coach, your football coach, NFL, college, pro, prospect, whatever, scout, whatever the prospect is, and whatever the scouting department is, they are going to be looking at this game and saying that, look, I saw this guy come up from the ranks from Pee Wee, and look at him. He is on one of the biggest stages in the NFL. So, one more time, I got the Patriots in the first game, and one more thing I am going to say is that I believe, now I do, I believe whoever wins the NFC Championship game is going to win the Super Bowl. I see it. So everybody, the NFC Championship game, you're basically watching the Super Bowl. You are. Because offensively, Rams and the Seahawks, top 10 in offense. The Patriots offense is top 15. Defensively, Rams defense is top 12. Defensively, for the Seahawks, top 10. Patriots defense, off Patriots defense is in the top 15. Broncos defense is in the top 5. So you're looking at the top. You're looking at 4 top 15 defenses in both of these games. But if I had to really say, I would love to see. No matter you know what, no matter what, how these games transpire, the Super Bowl is going to be the Super Bowl. But I just don't know if I could trust Sam Darnold just yet. I just don't know, because we all know that he is prone to throw interceptions in these big moments, and we already know that the Los Angeles Rams are going to try and put 7 or 8 guys in the box to neutralize Kenneth Walker, and then that'll leave it for one-on-one matchups with Jackson Smith and Jigba. And if they pretty much neutralize Jackson Smith and Jigba, Sam Darnold, he is going to have to go to other guys. He's going to have to go to his receiver 2 and receiver 3 guys. But all in all, both of these games are going to be very entertaining. And like I said, whoever wins these games are going to the Super Bowl. There's nothing else to say. So I got the Patriots in the first game, and I have boy, this is a tough matchup. This is a tough matchup right here. Definitively, I have the Rams, because the Rams, they've been there, they've been experienced. Now I know that the 12th man is also there. I would not be surprised if I'm going with the Rams, but I would not be surprised if Seattle won this game. Now I know that sounds a little backwards for me to say, but when it comes to the Rams offense, I believe the Rams offense, they are going to be able to move up and down the field. And I believe one thing that I would like is, see, this is where I get back to big market teams in the NFL. New England has a big market. They have the Patriots. Boston has a big market because they have the Patriots, the Bruins, they have the Celtics, and we already know that LA has a big market. They have the Rams, Dodgers, Lakers, Clippers, Chargers, and it's just so much teams galore. Now let me tell you something. Seattle, they only have the Seahawks, small market team. Broncos, they have the Denver has the Broncos and the Nuggets. Pretty much a small market team. So if we want a big market Super Bowl, we want to have the Patriots and the Los Angeles Rams. And basically, when I look back at these matchups, that is where I'm leaning to. The biggest markets, the NFL wants the biggest markets in the Super Bowls, and I'm not going to say that is the ultimate matchup that the NFL wants, but just look at it. Just look at it, America. Let's just take back. Over the last few years, I'm gonna ask y'all this question. The last small market team to win a Super Bowl, who was it? It was Seattle. And that was 12 years ago. And since then, it's been big market team, big market team, big market team, big market team. And then also we see where Kansas City, also big market team, big market team, big market team. And then the Rams in 2021, big market team. Philadelphia, big market team. Now we see where if either one of these 4 teams that make it, they are going to be able to generate so much revenue But still, those two words I keep on saying, the big markets. Now, like I said, I would, if you give me a chance, and if you give me a choice on to decide who I want to cover, I'll always take the Los Angeles Rams to cover because sunny California. I mean, I could go out there on a vacation and just drink me a good mimosa and just enjoy the weather out there. But Seattle, it be raining all the damn time in Seattle. It could be it could be sun shining and then 20 minutes later, all of a sudden it can be raining. But in LA, it is sunny year round and it rarely rains. It rarely rains. But all in all, I'm not going to ramble on, but I got the Patriots and the Rams winning both of these games, and Monday we will talk about both of these games and both of these matchups. We already know who the X factors are in both of these games, so I am not going to do that. I am not going to tell you all who it is, but if you look at their rosters, you already know who it is. And plus, when it comes to sports betting and parlays, you pretty much know who your X factors are going to be in both the AFC and NFC championship game. So, the last couple of minutes that I have, one thing that I am going to say is that the Super Bowl is going to be, well, first off, I have the Super Bowl schedule right here. Before the Super Bowl starts, since it's the 60th anniversary, before the game starts, we are going to have an announcer go down a list of all the previous Super Bowl MVPs from Super Bowl 1 to Super Bowl 59. It's the 60th anniversary of the Super Bowl, and we are going to celebrate. Now, I have been able to watch 23 Super Bowls, but now this is my third Super Bowl that I am covering, and I am excited about it. And I know everybody in here is excited about me covering the Super Bowl because it is one of the biggest, if not the biggest events that I cover every year. So now, with that, those are my predictions for NFL Championship weekend and the AFC Championship and NFC Championship. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to Keytime Sports right here on YouTube, Key City Sports on Instagram, and the keyonmillions.co. Here is my media feed. Here is my profile so that you will know it's me. Here is my merchandise. We do have new merchandise that is on the docket already. We have a new shirt here. We have a new shirt here and a new shirt here. We will be rolling out so much more merchandise and apparel throughout the rest of the year. So, NFC Championship game weekend, we have Patriots, Broncos, Rams, Seahawks. Who is going to make it to Super Bowl 60? It remains to be seen. Sunday will give us the answer. And remember, everybody, one last thing. The key is always on time.